Once again, David Grusch is under attack. This time he is being smeared for having PTSD. This is ridiculous, but this is important news and we've got to talk about it. So get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, share on social media, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Okay, here's Ross Coulthard talking about this very issue. And I'm sure you've all heard by now the big news that David Grusch has suffered PTSD. And this is being used against him to discredit his testimony, which of course is ridiculous. How can having PTSD discredit the fact of a UFO crash retrieval program with actual participants that have come forward testifying to the Inspector General of the intelligence community? Those people who have actually been reverse engineering alien ships and potentially even recovering crashed alien ships have testified to the Attorney General, but somehow this is going to be discredited by the fact that David Grusch has PTSD. I don't think so, but what else are you going to expect from the control group? It's the control group. Anyway, here's Ross talking about it. I'm not going to play it for too long because it's News Nation, and they have come against me with a copyright claim a couple weeks ago.
It was a section of the interview that didn't go to air, but basically he discussed with us when I asked him whether there was any dirt that anybody could drag out to try to discredit him. He barely thought this was worth mentioning, but he acknowledged that he'd suffered from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, when he returned from Afghanistan. David served his country honourably and with distinction. He's a decorated officer. And unfortunately, when he came back from Afghanistan, like a lot of men in your country and in mine, he struggled with the demons of what he'd seen in combat. And
well, I think we can all sympathize with that, and we all are aware, potentially with people in our own lives that may have suffered PTSD. I have a beloved uncle who has suffered PTSD all his adult life from what he went through in Vietnam. And it's really scarred him and messed him up. But he's not seeing aliens when there are none. And he's especially not able to produce witnesses who have reverse engineered UFO technology. Clearly, this is a smear campaign designed to discredit him, and that's all it is. However, it's kind of worth noting that the control group could use more severe tactics if they wanted to. You know, we've already heard some of the retaliation that David Grusch has faced. We've only heard, I think, the tip of the iceberg on that. His house is broken into, administrative terrorism used against him and others. He says he's actually representing others that were too afraid to come forward because of this administrative terrorism. And, terrorism is a pretty serious word to use. So is having your house broken into. And these are just glimpses at the retaliation we know that he has suffered. Some of it apparently was pretty bad. How bad, we don't know because we have not been privy to that information. He hasn't released it for whatever reason, possibly legal reasons. We don't know why he hasn't revealed what they've done. Possibly he's working with the IG to correct this stuff behind the scenes and get it fixed first before revealing it. Maybe there's ongoing investigations. I'm sure there are. In fact, we know that he has filed a complaint with the IG and that there surely are active investigations into this stuff. Lou Elizondo also filed a complaint with the IG over similar pushback that he was getting during his days in ATIP. None of those details have been released either, but the point is that if the control group is forced to resort to these tactics, smearing somebody for PTSD, that's almost an encouraging sign. And at least they're not taking him out, right? That's not to say that they couldn't take out others that haven't come forward. That was why Bob Lazar is said to have come forward. That's why he says he came forward, is to escape retaliation. If he went public with this stuff, then he thought that they would not move against him. Of course, he did suffer various retaliations, according to Bob. And I'm a believer in Bob. I think that everything that he has said has really checked out over time. One fact has been corroborated after another, and all the way up until David Grusch, totally corroborating so much of what Bob Lazar said, even down to the number of ships in our possession. But Bob went forward because he wanted to be protected from being taken out, which is something that he feared. And I think that is something David Grusch has also said, or others have said around him, maybe Ross, is that he was hoping that by coming forward he would be protected. And that may also be what's going on with David Grusch. Maybe by coming forward he will be protected from the more severe sorts of retaliation. You know, the men in black go around threatening people. They'll threaten your dog. They'll threaten your grandma. They'll threaten your whole family. And indeed, people who are in the know on this, even made a video on this a few weeks ago, have talked about people being erased by the control group, by the men in black. Have they erased their whole families as they pledged they would do? I don't know. I don't have any actual names or, events where this has happened, where whole families have been taken out, or even individuals. We don't have a whole lot of hard information about particular individuals that have been targeted. There's a lot of rumors and speculation about which individuals have been targeted and taken out by the control group, going back to James Forrestal. And, there's a whole bunch of people that have very possibly been taken out, but we don't have a lot of confirmation on that. What we do know is they certainly go around intimidating people, and there are rumors that they have indeed assassinated people. David Grusch himself has referred to that. But if they're not actually trying to take him out, if they're just resorting to smear campaigns in order to discredit what he's saying, you could almost look at that as an encouraging sign. At least they're not using physical violence against him at the moment. They're just resorting to these cheap tactics, if indeed it is the control group that is doing this. There could be other entities or other parties involved that may want to discredit him for their own reasons. Now, Ross Coulthard says that somebody in the intelligence community leaked it because only they would have had access to this information. Now, the intelligence community, of course, is inextricably linked with the control group, which makes perfect sense. Obviously, they would have assets in the CIA and other agencies. From my own limited interactions, I have seen that they have had assets in the FBI. So, I'm not going to go into any details on that, but it's a thing. So to me, this definitely looks like it's the control group that is doing this. But it could just be some rando in the intelligence community that has it out for David for whatever reason and leaked this. Or maybe some religious person that saw this as an attack on their religion. Potentially, you can never discount that. Lou Elizondo said he faced opposition with an agenda similar to that. So who knows? But to me, it looks very strongly like this is the control group itself, or somebody allied with the control group that is doing this in an effort to smear David, to discredit what he is bringing forward. And that's why it's so critical that we do get more whistleblowers coming forward. Jeremy Corbell said there's 40 plus whistleblowers armed to the teeth, ready to go. So bring it. We need those guys to come forward. We need those people who testified to the IG, the direct participants of these reverse engineering and UFO crash retrievals, to come forward to testify openly to Congress to take the pressure off of David Grusch, so that it's not all resting on one person. That if you can smear somebody for something, you discredit the whole thing. No, that's not going to work. We need more people coming forward, like with the Tic Tac incident. We didn't just have Commander Fravor. We had a whole host of witnesses and indirect participants like Kevin Day, who was seeing this stuff on the radar. So we need people like that coming forward with their own testimonies, and ideally some actual photos or videos or even physical material which we know exist and that they themselves have worked on. So yeah, so hopefully these guys are coming out of the woodwork soon, and we will take some of the pressure off of David, because I'm sure he could use the break. Anyway, so that's the news on David Grusch. I'll let you know more as I know more, and if you know more before I do, please let me know in the comments below. I sure appreciate it. I love all you guys that bring me information that is very appreciated and very helpful. And if you've enjoyed this video or gotten something out of it, give me a big thumbs up. That'd be super awesome. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. And join me on social media. There's Facebook and Twitter links below. I would love it if you would join me there. And if you could share this video on social media when it drops, that would be super helpful. Other ways you can support the channel: there's a PayPal button below, so feel free just to leave a one-time donation. You can also become a channel member. Channel members are rock stars. I love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Also, of course, if you're a fan of science fiction and fantasy, well, I'm a novelist. You can have some fun supporting the channel by reading one of my books. Link in the description. Here's a trailer for one of my books right now.